What's up, guys? This is Lasky Yoda Group here. I'm gonna start this 3-4 swap on this 1989 Toyota pickup. This is a 3.0 manual, and I'm converting it into a 3.4 manual that from a 96 Tacoma. I'm going to remove the engine in this video and show you what you need to prep before you can throw in your 3.4 liter. So let's dig right in. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do here is we're going to remove our battery. And while we're in here too, we're going to fix whatever that hunk of junk is, that colored spaghetti. But first we're going to, after we remove the battery here, we are going to remove this intake. There should be a bolt down here, a bolt up here, and a bolt back here for your AFM as well, and then just do your hose clamps there and there, and you can yank that out and take out your intake side. Then we're going to drain coolant, remove our radiator, our fan, our belts, vacuum lines. So the harness here is going to be cut somewhere around here, roughly. Then I can send it off to John. He's the guy that builds 3-4 swap harnesses in, I think, Wasilla or Eagle River, Alaska. Then we're going to remove our exhaust manifolds. So this 3.0 has headers, which you got to remove the headers before you can remove your 3.0. If on your typical exhaust manifolds, you would just disconnect a downpipe that would be located just around here. So I'll dig those out, and then we can do bell housing bolts and motor mounts after that, once we get all these vacuum and wiring. So I will see you when I get it ready to pull. So we got this 3VZ pulled out. Off of this 3VZ here, or the 3.0, we are going to need these engine mounts, these 3-liter engine mounts.
I put the sensor back on because it started leaking.
Okay. Then we're going to need the 3-liter oil pressure sensor and harness tail, as well as this oil pickup tube deal right here. Because on the 5VZ blocks, the oil pickup is usually over here with the oil pump. And then we're also going to need the 3VZ oil pan and pickup tube as well. But for most part, that's what all we'll need off of the 3-liter. We're going to clean up this engine bay of clutter. We got all that colorful spaghetti over there. We're going to degrease. There are some heat shields right here. That one right there we're going to have to remove. And there usually is one up against this firewall you just bend. Also, when you go to prep up your engine bay, you also cut this plastic cup off of your steering shaft. And there's other things you can do too, such as remove your vacuum booster line right here, because this is going to be shortened to just about right about here. And while you're in here, you might as well do your throwout bearing and your pilot bearing. And then we're still going to use the 3-liter power steering lines. Use the 3-liter banjo bolt.
Yeah, you use the 3-liter banjo
For-
bolt with the 3/4 pump.
Yeah.
You gotta cut this little nubby off
Yeah.
right here. Cut that flush right with this.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Cut
that'll
that
get in
flush.
the way of the pump.
Yeah. And I think that's about all you have to do. We're
Specifically that heat shield right there by
Yeah.
that motor mount gets removed.
But okay. And we can also use the 3/4 fuel line. So we just unbolted it from right there, and it's the same thread, same size. You can just bolt that in. We are going to use the fuel return line, which we'll need to extend. But we're gonna get all that knocked out here, and do just, and then prep this 3/4 in. We got that rear crossover welded, thanks to a buddy of mine. He's a good welder. Yeah. As well as, we also pulled the harness. The side that we need is the body plug side, as well as the transmission side. But everything else, like on the 3-liter here, everything else just got cut off right there. You can just leave it and pull it. And when you go to put on a clutch, you can use the 3/0 or the 3/4 clutch. But if you use the 3/4 clutch, you must use the 3/4 starter. Same goes for if you use the 3-liter clutch, you must use the 3-liter starter. Your throwout bearing is dependent on whether you're using the 3-liter transmission or whether you're using the like a later Tacoma with a different bell housing, because the throwout bearings differ. But anyways, we got this here, and we're gonna get everything prepped. So on the 3-liter, we have the engine mounts pulled, the oil pressure, and the dipstick, as well as we pulled the pickup tube and we threw the pan back on. Because I plan on using this motor for a different pickup eventually, because it's still a perfectly good 3.0. But anyways, got the 3/4 with the 3-liter motor mounts, the 3-liter oil pressure sensor, dipstick, and dipstick tube holder that goes into the block. Got the crossover welded up. I made this plate for a cherry picker. About to throw this cherry picker at this and put it on a clutch. In the engine bay here, we have removed the heat shielding. We still have to remove this plastic piece right here, but that'll take about a second. Did a little bit of degreasing, but not much. Removed some unnecessary lines, such as the vacuum line that ran across here for your brake booster. That's just going to get routed right into your intake. But we're going to stab in this 3/4 next. After we put the clutch on, we just have to replace the pilot bearing. And also threw in a new 3-liter throwout bearing. And just cleaned everything else up in there, just a little bit of grease up in there for the little ball which it pivots on. But otherwise, we're just about ready to throw the 3/4 in to this pickup. Alrighty, I'll throw that in there. The 3/4 is now dropped in. Bell housing and motor mounts are fully bolted in. Going to bolt and starter next as well. I went ahead and cut off the tab for the power steering because we can still use 3.0 power steering lines. Also went ahead and cut the clutch slave cylinder line bracket right here. I'm going to use this fuel line bracket right here and bolt it right here. That way this isn't wiggling around. I also have to adapt over the alternator plug. This is the older style. It's the round style. I need to adapt it to the 3/4 style, which is a 3-prong flat plug. Like this plug right here. I have that plug. It's the same 3 colors for both. Let's see, red, yellow, and white. And the new plug also has red, yellow, white. Also working with the exhaust, I'm going with a 2 1/4 with a Flowmaster 44 series. Also going to make a battery tray here out of old road sign, because I think it looks good with green. And waiting on a harness, which will be here shortly. And then I also have to fix that wiring, but that's light work. But anyways, I am working away on this. This thing will soon be on the road. I will see you when I get things wrapped up here. It's pretty easy after this. Alrighty, see ya. So we got the harness from John. Got your exhaust tail. That's all heat wrapped for your upstream and downstream O2. I got a cat delete on the way. Built a battery tray here. Used an old street sign and just bolted directly to this fender here. And then used a little kit that came with wing nuts and this tie down here. And then this grommet here, or this harness, goes into the cab where it originally went, where it plugs into your original body plugs. I know lighting's not great, but your gray and white plug.
Here's the tack mod for the 3/4. If you're wondering why it's not Ryland talking, it's a extreme intense focusness. But we got the whole gauge cluster out. We're replacing some bulbs, but that's where your
That's good enough.
tack mod goes.
Alright, so when we're doing our tack mod here, this is our tack unit. We have removed this from the cluster here. We are going to solder a 10K ohm resistor. It doesn't matter which direction it's going, in between this port right here and this port right here. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to hold. But that's how you get your tack to work on tack trucks. If you don't have a tack in your truck, you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, you can get these off Amazon for dirt cheap. You can get hundreds of them for dirt cheap. Or you can go at Yoda Shop, but I'd recommend Amazon because they're cheaper for more. But this is how we'll get our tack to work. And this is all you got to do for your tack. So
Got the first start on the 3/4 swapped 89 Toyota pickup. Bring the thunder, bud.
fresh 3/4 swap on this green 89. Donor 96. No exhaust on it yet. Alright guys, so the 3/4 swap, I've been driving around here for about 100 miles or so. Gonna do oil change for break-in for rings. Currently runs drives perfect, no check engine lights. This is definitely a lot faster, a lot better on the highway than the 3-liter. But that pretty much wraps up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time, and whatever Toyota shenanigans we do. So, have a good day.